you feeling, Kat? How are your
I'm so good. I am calling in from the Philippines, so that means that my trip is coming to an end, which is so crazy.
travels? Yeah.
Waiting for my bag. I'm like, it's all good. My bag isn't here. I'm just hanging out in the clothes from before. Uh, yeah, but I'm good. Thank you for asking, and I'm so excited to get transfer and transmit this information that we've got here today. I like honestly, I told my mom, I was like, oh, apparently I'm doing a master class today, which is exciting because I had no idea what this call would feel like or look like. I didn't know if I wanted it to be coaching or really what the vibe of it was. So I think it'll be a little bit of both. I think, speaking into the nature of subconscious reprogramming and why it's important and why I'm putting it at the beginning of this program, to just give you all some context for the purpose of uh, and the formula for the work that we're doing is going to help you all to like cognitively receive and more energetically receive and be apt to the shifts that are going to be taking place over these next few weeks. So I'm so excited that you both are here. Thank you so much for joining live. We've got another few ladies that are inside the group that were unable to make it, working across time zones. So it'll be nice when I'm back in the United States and we can harmonize a little bit better when it comes to time zones and hopefully get the other ladies on live as well. So you're here because you joined Shapeshifter. Shapeshifter is a 3-week transformational challenge that I needed, that I desired to take myself through. And I said, why the hell not invite my community in to experience this with me? And two, it's that level of accountability, right? To continue to use each other to show up as motivation. I know for me, like I've been working through the programs in my mind as I continue to show up for this challenge. Of course, I was telling my mom yesterday, I was like, I have this pattern, like this avoidant pattern that I would rather just, walk away or not do it or find an easier way or avoid like sitting down sometimes to do the actual work that makes transformation happen because, of course, it's easier to walk away in the short term, at least, than what it means to create long-term success and achievement. So I really want this to be, I mean, and it is a daily practice, a moment to moment practice. Of course, your days, your weeks, your months, your years are made up by moments, right? And so you get to choose who you want to be and how you want to interact with the world and really the world that you're living in through the lens that you experience your life moment to moment. And the quality of your life is really determined by the essence and the quality of you that shows up to these micro moments, right, that you experience in your daily life. So today in this week one is all about subconscious reprogramming. So you may or may not know that I'm a master certified NLP practitioner. NLP means neuro linguistic programming, and it's basically just language of the mind. So through NLP, I practice hypnosis, subconscious reprogramming, repatterning. And it's really a way to work at the root level with your thoughts, values, beliefs, and identity to pull out the roots, to shift your beliefs at the root, to get to maybe core wounds that have happened through early childhood or even past lives, and pull out and cleanse and detoxify, rewrite these old narratives because so many of us have these massive visions, massive goals, big desires, yet you find yourself making little progress over time, right? So, I mean, I don't know where you all were a year ago. Megan, I kind of know where you were. Izzy, you're a little bit newer to my field, but y'all have, big dreams, big visions, big aspirations, and it's important, right, to work with the beliefs that you have deeply rooted in your subconscious. The subconscious operates 95% of your values, beliefs, and identity underneath of the surface. So when I talk about feminine energetics and really like shape shift her, why this is related to the feminine is because the subconscious is feminine in nature. The subconscious is that which operates in the shadow. It operates, you know, your emotions, your energetic system. It's more in the body. And so the feminine is also embodied. It's an embodied experience. It operates your emotions, your energetic system. It lives in, you know, the womb, if you think about that, and the chakras. And so your womb, your sacral chakra is also feminine in nature. It's related to your emotions. It's the element that is correlated to the womb is water, right? And so there's like this really watery, shadowy nature related to your subconscious. And so we're working with like feminine energetics and reprogramming at a cellular level, at a subconscious level, working with 95% of your thoughts, values, beliefs, and identity to shift. And yeah, shapeshifter. There's something else I was going to say. Subconscious reprogramming. So a lot of people, the average person, which you ladies are not average because you're here, and I don't work with average people, and I make that clear. Most average people, you know, go about their day, go about their weeks, their months, and their years desiring transformation, but not willing to do the work that's associated with the transformation, right? So it's actually a lot easier than you think it is. And it takes consistent devotion and um conscious effort, right? So with this 95% working with 95% of the subconscious, you actually can use the less than 5% of your conscious mind to make the transformation that you desire to see in your world. And so that's powerful. Could you imagine what transformation could occur if you just consciously chose to start to subtly shift the beliefs that you have about yourself, plugging away, becoming aware of the narratives that you tell yourself and the stories that you tell yourself? Less than 5% of your conscious awareness will impact and influence and rewrite over 95% of your thoughts, values, beliefs, and identity. That's powerful. Okay, that's power. And so you're here today because we're nearing the end of the year. It's November 11th, I believe, or November 10th, back on your side of the world. It's November 10th. We've got 3 weeks of consistent showing up, effort, devotion. Be aware because your mind is sneaky, especially when you don't want to show up, especially when you're tired. That is the invitation. That is the moment that you really start to rewrite these narratives and these programs, okay? Especially when you don't want to, especially when you're facing resistance, okay? So, is there anything else I want to say on that? Yeah, there is. So, it's November 10th. We're doing this challenge here towards the end of the year. You ladies have big missions, big purpose, big vision. Megan, I'm so fucking proud of you, both of you ladies. I'm so proud of you for really showing up and stretching yourself and putting yourself in the room and getting into relationships with people that stretch you, help you evolve. Because you ladies are shapeshifters. You are change makers. You are not attached to a single identity. You're constantly evolving, constantly growing. And so that's really what Shapeshifter is all about, is you're in constant evolution, which ties into the Buddhist philosophy, anicca. Anicca means rising and passing and changing. Anicca, anicca. This is related to my Vipassana practice. And so with the understanding that things are in constant evolution and changing and evolving, and this also is like related to one of the 12 universal laws, is impermanence. And so there's this feminine energetics and this vibration and this frequency of impermanence that your feminine cannot be put in a box. It cannot be feminine it's a bit elusive. It's always evolving, always changing. And so really to use that energy of always evolving, always changing for your benefit. These next 3 weeks, you are going to live the quality of life that one average person would live in 3 months or 3 years, because you are devoted fully to this process of shape shifting your entire identity. And so when you show up to this work full hearted, both feet in, believing in the unseen, letting yourself evolve, letting this work move you, your quality that you experience life through turns up, and then the clock slows down. And so now we're talking about the Einsteinian perspective and relation to time. Is Einstein's relation to time is that it's nonlinear, and that the type and the own one's movement and motivation and already pre-established momentum that one has. And you ladies, I know where you're at, and I know that you already have this momentum going, is that through, if you see two objects moving side by side, the one that has the momentum and the one that's moving a little bit slower and sees the train passing faster is going to experience that train passing faster at a slower rate, because now you're also moving with it, right? Versus the one that's standing still experiences that train pass at a flash of, light, or however fast it's going. It's definitely not going at the speed of light, but at a lot faster rate, because this is just still, right? So we're not still. We're taking action. We're moving. We have momentum. You have momentum. And so you're going to experience that the essence and the movement of the object that is moving at a slower rate, because you're actually moving with it. And so that's going to be like the vibe and the essence of this work too, is like you're moving with life, right? You're letting this work move you through you. You're a channel, you're a conduit, you're constantly in evolution, constantly changing. Nothing is permanent. The only constant is change, right? And so you can really rely on the energetics of this constant movement to evolve you. And so circling back to you living the quality of life that one individual that's still here stagnant might live and experience in 3 years, is because you're not that bump on the log, right? You are already instilling movement, evolution into your life. And when you increase the quality of your life lived, you slow down the clock. And so for me, and I don't know about you ladies, drop in the chat or let me know, show of hands. It's November 10th. It's been 1 year since I fully decided, or less than a year, since I fully decided to lean in and devote myself to this work in my business full time. And because of that, I've turned up the quality of life and experience lived. And I've actually lived what one average person would live in 5 years in just this year. Traveling the world, starting programs, running retreats, creating high value content, making transformation in other people's lives, right? And transforming my life, transforming the way that I interact with, men, women, myself, my beliefs, moving. Okay. So there's so much that gets to happen when you really start to turn that quality of life lived up. So, all right. How is this landing for you, my love? Let me know how this is landing. It looks like maybe not to drop off because she is heading to class, but all good.
Yeah, I think this is honestly like exactly what I needed. even all of this, like, I don't know, I feel like what you said with like the trains kind of like was really like hit home for me because I feel like I kind of like have been feeling stagnant, but not looking at like all of the stuff that I do like work on and try and do throughout my day and like how much work I have done just in the past year on myself and like how I show up in spaces and like I don't know, it's really cool. And even like doing all this shadow work, I've kind of realized like where I could be more vulnerable and like where I'm still like holding on to little things. Um, but I think it's also, I don't know, I love it. It's perfect. It's perfect. So,
Amazing. I'm so glad that you're here.
yeah.
And I'm so glad that I reached out. And I'm so glad that it feels like divine timing. That seems to be
Mhm.
the cadence at which we plug and play
Oh,
together.
it is.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
to that point is I'm going to speak to you about the reticular activating system because I feel like this will really support your understanding and cognition of what you're experiencing on the day to day. But basically, the RAS, the reticular activating system, it's this network or clump of neurons at your brainstem that regulates your sleep, awake cycles, attention, and arousal. So, we're going to talk about specifically how your RAS affects your attention and your focus. So, the RAS, it helps the brain, it's like this filtration system between your conscious and your subconscious, and it helps your brain to pay attention to and look for certain situations or experiences that validate beliefs or information that you're looking for. And so you're like, oh my God, I feel like, you know, I'm actually making progress in my daily life. And, there are these micro progressions, but it's still progress. And so I want this like process of activating the RAS and continuing to look for all of the reasons why things are working and showing up for your life and believing in the micro actions that you are engaging in every single day as progress towards your goals, because the more that you pay attention to the progress that you're making, the more progress that you'll make, right? And that's through the RAS, through your ability to focus on and pay attention to the information that validates you making progress in your life. It also supports goal achievement. So the RAS helps you focus on finding and putting yourself in rooms of the people, the places, the informations, and opportunities that help you to achieve your goals. Okay. And so you may or may not have awareness of this, but by you being in this feminine untamed community with me, this is getting you closer towards your goals. You had no idea that you plugging in to the women's circle was going to connect you with a possible job opportunity of an
Mhm.
entrepreneurial woman that, is running her own massage therapy studio that's going to activate and inspire you to develop your own business. But you got in the space and now the seed is planted and now others are also helping look for opportunities. So because you decide and declare what it is that you're wanting to cultivate more of, now you let me in. And so this is when I start to say, like, let people in on your visions and your goals and your dreams. Plant the seeds,
Mhm.
plant the seeds because now that information is stored in their subconscious and now they're looking for, you know, ways to support you achieving your vision, right? If you hadn't told me that, then I wouldn't have been looking for, I wouldn't have thought of the woman that has this her own massage practice. And
Mhm.
it's like let the world in on your vision and let your community support, right? Your achievement of your goals that you're working towards.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think I always have this like move in silence mentality, which is so weird, but like I don't like telling people things until I have it like fully figured out. And I think it comes out of fear of like people being like, well, that's not a good idea, or like, that's not going to work out, or like this or that, or like kind of like putting their own like negative ideas onto my stuff, which I found that happened like a lot growing up with like my mom and like even like just talking to random people about like being a massage therapist. Like they kind of like put on their like stuff. So I've kind of been trained to not, but also like I think kind of just having courage to be like, well, it is what I'm doing. And so what? Like your belief isn't like something I choose to hold on to or like
Yeah.
choose to believe myself, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is something that I want you to start to get curious about. So now, okay, we're bringing this from the subconscious now to conscious awareness. You're aware that you have this pattern of moving in silence because it's a protection mechanism. And it's reminding me of the card in one of the decks that I have. It's New Birth Guarded Vigilantly. And the new birth guarded vigilantly, the essence and the vibe of this new birth guarded vigilantly is like it's a seed sprouted and you have to take care because the roots and the sprout itself is still uh gaining strength, right? It's gaining resiliency. And so you're like having to guard, safe keep, right? Safe keep this newly sprouted idea that you have. And and what was I gonna say about subconscious? Hold on. Subconscious. Move in silence. Oh yeah. So just be aware of when you that belief that you need to stay silent or be quiet or not share your vision or your desires to manifest in life come up, and get curious. Even journal. This will be like a special journal prompt unique to you, but what is the purpose? What is the kink? What do you get from not sharing? Because you don't share for a certain reason or rhyme, right? There's some benefit that you're receiving by not sharing your desires with the
Mhm.
world, right? And so start to get curious around like, what are you gaining by staying quiet? Okay. And then what are you losing by staying quiet? And exactly what you said is like, I'm sharing with the wrong people, right? And so that's going to be a point of this too is share with the people that inspire
That
you. Yeah, share with the people that are doing the thing that you want to do. Share with the people that are in the position that you want to grow in. Don't share with your mama because she's not, a successful entrepreneur that has their own healing practice and business and, affecting people's lives.
Mhm.
Get people on your side that are walking the path that you want to develop in and use them as your mentors because I'm going to say something completely different than somebody that
Right.
walked that path before, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so it's less
Yeah.
about moving in
Ooh.
silence and more about speaking to and getting loud and in the rooms with people that see you and support you and are going to champion and cheerlead your vision to the end.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So one last point that I want to mention with the RAS is that the RAS supports information filtering. So it's a gatekeeper between your conscious mind, what I mentioned, and your sensory system. So it's filtering out any unnecessary information. So now that you're aware that you have this little part within your brainstem that's filtering out information, you get to use this and trust that it's putting you in the rooms, having the conversations with the people that you need to have conversations with. It's clearing the conversations with the people that you don't need to have conversations with. And this also goes to and plays into the experience of and the philosophy of like Buddhism and Vipassana. So I'm fresh off of my Vipassana retreat, the 10-day silent retreat, very rigid, very disciplined meditation practice, 10 hours a day of meditation, 100 hours in 10 days of meditation. And so Vipassana means clear seeing. It also is known to be a purification process. So Vipassana is a purification process that clears, removes impurities of the mind. And so I speak about this, and I want to bring this into today's conversation because you're removing subconscious blocks or barriers from these old identities that no longer are in alignment with the woman that you're becoming. So they clear disillusion of ego-based conditioning. So through these practices, you're removing who you thought you were, the I am this, I am that, and really more associating and these identities, the I am, are actually contributing to your suffering because you're now holding on to the identity of who you thought you were. And so when you process and you release through the practice of Vipassana and purification, you're releasing the attachment to you having this one specific identity and condition, this ego-based conditioning to, so for you, one that I would say is like, I'm young, right? I am young.
Mm-hmm.
I am young. And so this is just a belief. It's just a conditioning. Like we have the most amazing healers. And to be honest, like you actually get to use your youth and your vitality and your energy as ways to help others heal more than somebody who's in their mid 50s, 60s, 70s has the access to. Like that young spirit is really healing in a lot of ways. It helps to create, more inspiration, more energy, more activation, and you're an old soul. And the quality of life that you've lived, like it doesn't matter how old you are, you could have very high quality life that again lets you live 3 times the amount of life in a third of the time, right? So you have more wisdom than your average 60, 70-year-old has, right? And so just to realize like that conditioning of being young and attaching to a number is totally just an ego-based conditioning that's here to keep you safe, here to keep you, small. And so again, starting to get curious around how these identities are influencing how you show up to the world. And so this also helps to expand your identity, shifting these beliefs that you have about yourself. What would happen if I fully embraced my youth? What would happen if I realized that I've lived 3 times the quality of life than somebody in their 60s or 70s? Then how do I show up to the world? Then how do I, experience myself? And then Vipassana also talks about non-attachment. So this, and the reason that I'm speaking into this because this all has to do with subconscious reprogramming. Vipassana is a psychosomatic experience that works with your core and your root belief system through the body. So this is an actual beautiful practice that ties so well into this program that we're doing, Shapeshifter, because we're doing the belief work, the subconscious work. We're also going to be doing and integrating the somatic work. And so I want to just bring attention to the belief work first, planting seeds, starting to shift the way that you experience yourself in the world. And then through that, your body is already starting to change at a cellular level, right? You're starting to already repattern your body at an energetic level, an energetic frequency. And so through this practice, you also cultivate observation and non-attachment. So through this practice, and I'll say meditation, non-attachment, and just pure observation, Zen, mindfulness meditation is going to be such a important tool for you to be in relationship to on a daily and weekly basis, because you start to dissociate yourself from the narratives and the experience and start to just be in the experience, right? So you start to observe
Mm-hmm.
the thoughts, you start to observe the sensations as they arise without clinging to them or pushing them away. And so how does this look? How does this impact, the subconscious beliefs and blocks that we have? Well, when I was in my Vipassana, um, I had my migraines started to come up. And at first, in the first 3 or 4 days, I could start to feel them. And I was like, nope, not right now, not today. I'm not dealing with this. This is not going to come up. I'm not going to let it come up. And so that aversion, pushing away of the thing that was, bubbling up in me is what actually created more attachment and more sensation to the thing, because I was creating so much resistance in my field that the thing that was manifesting in me would eventually, inevitably, be like, here I am. You don't want to deal with me. I'm the monster in the closet, and everything will implode. Right. And so instead of clinging or pushing them away, you actually just get to observe the sensation, not associate into them, not say my head hurts, be like, oh, there's tingling behind my
Mm-hmm.
eyes, right? Not to say, oh my God, I'm going to get a migraine. Say, oh, that's interesting. There's pressure behind my right earlobe, behind this, behind that. And not saying, me, not closely associating into it, start to detach. And this helps to loosen the grip of these deeply rooted habits and emotional reactions that are encoded in the subconscious. So this helps people break automatic responses in thought. And so one thing that happened as I was on this Vipassana was I was in day 5, day 6, my migraines were coming back. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, here I go. I gotta sit with this because this is clearly showing up and I don't want to avoid it. At this point, I know that, aversion isn't the answer. Pushing down, trying to resist isn't the answer. So I finally start to let it in. And then I realize, okay, I've actually had a similar experience healing my symptoms to my celiac disease because I'm sitting here eating wheat, eating whatever, and I don't have any sensations or any attachment to the pain that I'm feeling in my stomach. Actually, I haven't had any pain in my stomach, and it's been months since I've had a stomach ache. And before, I used to be so closely associated and attached to the sensation of the pain in my stomach and what eating a French fry fried in the same fryer as, deep fried chicken wings would do, or breaded chicken wings would do to my stomach, that through the fear of feeling something, I was creating sensation. And so I realized I was like, okay, I have that experience of releasing the attachment to the sensation that of, digestive disorders. I believe, and I've achieved releasing the sensation related to that. So it would make sense to also be able to release the pain associated with my headache, right? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if I am able to transmute the sensation and the pain that I felt for years related to a diagnosed disease, then why would I also not be able to transmute the pain that I feel in my head? And actually, and this is when I asked you, I was like, okay, bring up 3 to 5 examples of, or no, it wasn't you, it was Emma, but bring up 3 to 5 examples of when life has surprised you. And so in this moment, I was using past experiences, bring up an example of when I was able to release my association to the pain and rewrite the narrative truly by just being attached to the pain itself. And so that process happened through this 10-day Vipassana. So is this clear?
Mm-hmm. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Super clear. That's super amazing and really powerful. It kind of makes me think of Alexander Shulgin. He would do a lot of like MDMA research with people. And he would talk about like moving pain through your body or like moving things, what have you. And I had an experience like that where I was like feeling just super sad and like just, and I mean, feeling more than sad, but like 15 bajillion emotions. And it like was resting in my stomach. And I remember hearing that like you can move this out of you if you want. And I like ended up puking everywhere, which was like exactly what I needed. And like I'd kind of like moved that energy out of myself, you know? So I feel like, I mean, it's not same, but different. But that stuff is, yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
So powerful.
It's
Your
cool.
body knows, you know,
Mm-hmm.
body knows. Um,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Let's see. We talked about Anisha. So, like what you just said, your body, like your body, and what I just mentioned too, your body knows. It brings
Mm-hmm.
the sensations and emotions that are stored in the body up to the surface and helps you to release them. It helps you to feel them. It helps to activate these energies and emotions stuck in the subconscious, stored in the subconscious. So that pain and that repulsion that you are feeling and the repression of that repulsion, it's like, ugh, feeling tightness, gripping on, avoiding. That's creating more resistance. It's creating more of a block. And then when you're like, oh, wait, I can actually just dissolve it by letting myself feel it, instead, it starts to loosen. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have a whole purge, right? A physiological purge of the emotion and of the energy that was sitting at the pit of your stomach. And so this is your body
Mm-hmm.
going through an emotional healing and clearing process that it knows how to do. Your body is so intelligent. And this is a thing I was sitting with my mom last night, and I was like, you just in awe of how intelligent our bodies are. And I want to mention now too the philosophy and the difference between like Eastern and Western healing. And you have the power, and you're deeply intuitive, you're highly empathic, you're very attuned, very aware, you're powerful as fuck. You're a really good healer. I know that you are. And you have the power to alchemize this deeply rooted pain and really intense trauma that you've been carrying and that others have been carrying and passed along to you because you're a shapeshifter, because you are a light worker. And um yes, hold on one second. Shapeshifter, light worker. I love my brain. It's so good, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Um Yeah, I forget where it's going with that. That one
That,
specifically, but I love it. My brain is so sweet.
no,
What did
you're
you
perfect.
say?
I said I think our bodies are intelligent. I think I forget that a lot.
They're
To
so intelligent. And in the Western culture, we are so programmed to constantly outsource our power and this intuitive and deep, like timeless intelligence that we carry so deep within us, within our DNA. And the realization and the fact of the matter is that your body knows what it is like to be in balance. It knows what it is like to be in perfect equanimity, perfect harmony with itself. And we are under the disillusion, especially in Western cultures, that you don't know. We've been
Mhm.
programmed since early to go to the experts, to go to the doctors, to go get the pharmaceutical drugs, to outsource, to prescribe, to receive. And the truth of the matter is, like, sometimes and most times, 95% of the time, maybe even more than 95%, 99% of the time, it's really just about you getting quiet enough with yourself and cultivating enough awareness within yourself to help to resolve and move this trapped energy that's been sitting in your stomach, sitting in your body, to come back into perfect harmony, perfect equanimity,
Mhm.
balance. And so I'm so proud of you for being the embodiment of this wisdom. And it's like you get to bring this to your clients because
Hmm.
I tell you what, there are so many of the 60, 70-year-olds that are continuing to outsource and prescribe their own healing to others that are waiting for the quick fix, waiting for the pill. And the reality of it is like we are our own healers, but it
Hmm.
takes that level of belief and devotion to self to be able to start to heal. Your body knows. It knows what it is to be in perfect balance with itself. And so this process of subconscious healing is like, again, purification, clearing away, removing the programs and beliefs that you don't know because you do. And so yeah, there so many emotions are so many beliefs and emotions are charged. And so by releasing these emotional roots, by releasing the repulsion that you're feeling, you're able to reprogram your response to these energetic patterns that have been living in your body. So
Hmm.
celebrating massively because you're doing it. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I was like writing about that a little bit with our like prompt with the triggers earlier today, just with like I've noticed that like when I do get those like huge big kind of sensations of like I'm not safe or like I'm emotional or something like that, I've really been like leaning into it more than like pushing it away and just being like this, like me being triggered by this situation is like an opportunity for me to express what needed to be expressed whenever I was like really going through whatever, like whatever that root cause is. Like, this is me being able to get to that point and let it out, which I think has been really cool. And like, I don't know, I even like talked to Jolie about it. Like, I'll have like random cry sessions in front of her, and I'm like, sorry, that song just like it picked at a scab and I had to let it out. And like, I don't know, I'm less afraid of that, which I think is really cool. And like, less afraid of just like letting my body do what it needs to do, because I think I used to be so afraid of that and afraid of judgment or like, losing control or something like that when like that's the easiest way to kind of calm down again is to just let it out, whether it's, whatever it is. Ooh, but,
Yeah, and it's like, what is
yeah.
control anyways? It's like, would you rather
Mm-hmm.
lose control, what would be perceived as losing control, and actually processing something, or continue to repress these emotions that, again,
Yeah.
perpetuate disease and disharmony, which is really the loss of control? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, good. I love you. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, mm.
There's been
I
so
love
much
you. Thank you.
work.
I'm proud of you.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
thank you,
A
babe. Yeah,
whole
it's
lot.
incredible to witness you
Yeah.
and your process of just leaning into this innate healer within. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which brings me to the last or second to last point, but cultivating and witnessing the true nature of self and reality, right? So through this practice, you get to experience your true nature beyond conditioning and reactive patterns, right? So your conditioning might have been that your crying or your emotional release would be you losing control, which your true nature and your true self is just that you're feeling something and that you're cleansing and you're releasing and you're going through this purification process. So this lays the foundation for deep and lasting subconscious reprogramming. You know that the moment that you allow yourself to cry feels like a cleansing, refreshing bath, and that you feel so much lighter afterwards. And so we, at this point, having, emotionally processed through a lot, you understand that, oh, crying is actually going to make me feel better. So many people are under the impression that crying is going to make them feel worse, or that they're crying because something bad is happening. And it's like, no, I'm just crying because I need to release some energy. And it's not really associated to any single narrative or story. And so this is like the process is to start to, and again, this is like disillusion, releasing the ego-based conditioning, releasing the story, the narrative that's associated to the emotion, and just letting yourself feel and be in the experience itself, then so closely wrapped up and tied up to the story that is related to the thing. And so through this process, you are allowing yourself to witness and be in the experience of your true nature without the conditioning of the story or the narrative that's so tightly bound to the emotion. And so again, like through this process, you're just reprogramming, processing, releasing. And one thing that had happened to me when I was in my Vipassana was like, I came out of a meditation. It was day 6 or whatever day it was. At this point, I'm like so lost in time and space. But I come out and I come into my room and I purge. I purge. I start to bawl, sob, crying. I'm on my hands and knees. I'm literally energetically purging what feels like I'm in an ayahuasca ceremony, releasing the repressed emotion, sadness, grief that I hadn't let myself feel in years. And there's no story associated with it. This guy at the end of our silence, he asked me, because I was sharing this moment with the others in the retreat, and I was like, yeah, I had this really deep process, and I was like purging this repressed guilt and sadness and shame that I had been holding on to since I was like 3 years old, maybe even longer, probably from past lifetimes. And he was like, oh, what was making you cry? Why were you crying? And I was like, I have no clue. I was just crying because I
Just
need,
what?
yeah, just to process. Like it wasn't associated with any particular story. It was just process, right? And so
Yeah.
that's the witness of your true nature. And the reality is letting yourself like move through these repressed emotions and witnessing them through a clear lens. And that clarity, the witnessing through that clear lens, is the detachment from the story, right? If I were to continue to associate this grief to the time when I was a kid, when my dad yelled at me and spanked me and wouldn't let me inside, and I was shivering cold in my bathing suit, and all I wanted to do was come in and get warm, then that's again associating into an ego-based condition narrative. It's still perpetuating disillusion. Whereas I'm just crying because there's this repressed emotion in me. It doesn't matter why, or the programming or the belief around why, right?
Yeah.
So all of this practice of meditation, vipassana, constantly rising and passing in evolution, things, the only permanent thing, the only constant is change, is really helping you to dissolve these subconscious patterns. And so bringing this to the forefront of your mind, this practice that we're getting into now is helping to transform your beliefs at a deeply rooted subconscious level. And so there's a quote that by Mahatma Gandhi. He says, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. And so in short, hold on, I had it pulled up here. 1 second. In short, where'd it go? I guess I closed it. So your beliefs become your thoughts become, or excuse me, beliefs become your thoughts thoughts become your actions become your reality, and your reality becomes your identity, basically. And so you have to be so conscious and cognizant and aware of your beliefs, of the story that you're telling yourself. I'm going to post that in the chat as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because your beliefs become your reality, becomes your identity. And so being so conscious and aware of the story that you're telling yourself. There was an experience that I had. I was walking along this path. I was in Sri Lanka. I'm in deep scarcity. All I want to do is like rid myself of the scarcity that I'm feeling. And that's kind of my intention for the trip is like, okay, I'm traveling to Asia. Things are really cheap out here. How can I really start to shift into an abundance mindset? Because I have access to wealth and resources beyond my mind's capacity to dream. And especially being a Western woman that is well educated and speaks multiple languages and has traveled the world, we have access to resources that so many people in the majority of the population of the world don't have access to. And so if I can just shift my experience to my reality of my experience to how I'm perceiving wealth, then what a gift. And so I'm here in Asia, in Sri Lanka, on a trail, walking with my head down. I'm pissed that I've come to this trail and I haven't seen any animals and I just paid $50 to get a ride. And, I'm like deep in this narrative. Oh, this is such a waste. Oh my God, I can't believe I did this. I'm just like, my head is down, I'm trudging along, and my energy is dense, and I feel the weight of this stress and this looming anxiety on me. And then I realized in that instant, I was like, this isn't an abundance mindset. This isn't the energy that I want to show up to the world with. Um, Hold on. In this moment, I realized what is the version of me that lives through an abundance mindset? How does she show up? And so I'm going to leave you with this today is like, what is the identity? And hopefully you've cultivated an awareness of this day one, but what is the version of you? And if not, then you get to do it today. It's day 3 or day 4. We're not that far in. But like, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be at the end of these 3 weeks? Who do you want to be in 3 months, 3 years time? And this is something that I've given you before, but I want you to relate to this in a different way. What are the values and the energies and the beliefs of the person that has achieved the results and the reality that you desire to live? And I don't want you to just write a list of the values and the beliefs of that woman. I want you to become the values and the beliefs of the woman that has received her desires already. So how does she walk? How does she move? Because, and the reason that I'm going to leave us with this here is because I've written list after list. I've done, the values work, the belief work. What matters is the energetics of how do you show up to and interact with the world. The version of you, Izzy, that speaks confidently, that believes in your power, that believes in the wisdom that you carry, totally dissociated with the age that you are, the numbers on the clock. How do you tune into the version of you that's lived lifetimes and carries this deep wisdom? How do you move through the world? How do you carry yourself? And so now I'm working with the belief system while also starting to work with the somatics, which we'll get into in week 2. But really, who are you? How do you move? What do you believe to be true about your world? What do you subscribe to? What is the ego-based identity that you are? And then how do you energetically, physiologically, and physically move through, carry yourself in the world in a way that supports that belief system. So again, it's like, I don't want you to just write it down. I want you to start to put it into practice. So taking it from the cognitive, embodying it. And so this is the practice of the experiential learning classroom now. So we're starting to like take this knowledge and bring it down to the body and experience it as lived wisdom.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so. Thank you. I'm like, Kat, you need to come out with a book of journal prompts, seriously, because I have like 15 just like from our conversation of little things you said. So, like, thank you so much. This is amazing.
Yay.
I'm excited. Yay. This feels so good.
No, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're
Yeah.
here. And like you said, it's perfect time. So I really want you to
Mhm.
like tune into the frequency of the woman that you become and um the purpose for why you're here and the seeds that you're planting and the garden that you're cultivating and the garden that you're tending to, your own inner garden. And I know that you're at this really pivotal moment in time. And so right now you just choose, like you choose that you're at this pivotal moment in time. And how do you show up to and interact with the world with the belief that I am on the brink of a massive breakthrough and a massive up level, and I am creating the energy of that up level now. That's what inspired me to do this challenge. Was like, I
Yeah.
know personally I'm about to quantum leap. I am quantum leaping, and there's a few things that I want to get in order within my mind and body, before I really ascend and become a true
Mhm.
energetic match. Because like I'm like kind of matching, but still not here. So if when the reality that I'm envisioning is here, then I know that I'm a full fuck yes and I'm a match because they're like it's here in front of me. But because it's not, it's still a few things that you get to attune and shift to become a full yes and a match to what you're cultivating. So um yeah, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I'm so excited to see what comes through. If anything landed from today, please share in the group, please share online, start to use your
Mhm.
voice, identify the people that are here to water your soil, to cheer you on. Those that are walking the path already, share your vision with them, ask for advice from the right people that are doing what you desire to do so badly. And yeah, I fully believe in your capability and you have an incredible voice and you're such a powerful healer. And I'm so excited to see what you create.
Thank you. I'm excited to see where this goes and how, I don't know, I'm just excited in general. So thank you. Thank you for everything.
All right. Talk to you soon, love.
See ya. Bye.